Hines Bites, your Strata update, with Frank Higginson from Hines Legal.
It's time for a little bit of a refresher on secret ballots. They've been part of our Strata legislative framework since 2003. There's been some decisions through the years that have changed things around a little bit that people should be aware of, but I think a refresher is never a bad thing anyway. So secret ballots arrived in 2003 to protect the identity of a voter. Before then, you could ring the body corporate manager if you knew them and find out which way people had voted and which people had actually voted, either before a resolution or after the meeting. It didn't actually matter. So in 2003, we had specific provisions included and certain things were made compulsory to be considered by secret ballot. And two easiest examples are new management rights agreements or variations to management rights agreements to add further term. Bodies corporate also have the flexibility to resolve that other types of decisions must be by secret ballot. So that can be whatever you want that to be. It's up to the body corporate and general meeting to decide. There's one building that I'm aware of that has made every motion on every general meeting a secret ballot, including confirmation of the minutes of the last meeting. So you can imagine how long those meetings go for. But obviously there's some historical issues there that have triggered that. The key thing with secret ballots is that they're designed to protect the identity of the voter. So that's not to protect anyone else but the voter themselves. So from my personal perspective, if I want to go to a general meeting and I want to vote on a secret ballot openly from the floor, I can do that. That's me waiving my right to tell everyone which way I've voted. Of course, the returning officer may well want me to fill out a ballot paper and so on, but that's up to me. That's not for people then to disqualify me from exercising my right to cast my vote. The other thing, I suppose, from a secret ballot perspective is we've now got electronic voting. So bodies corporates have a choice as to whether they want to use that or not. And if you are using electronic voting, it is very important to make sure that the software continues to protect the identity of the voter. Because previously, there's a fairly foolproof system where you'd put a ballot paper inside an envelope, then put that inside another envelope, and then you'd send that back to the returning officer. Returning officer at the meeting then checks the outside envelope, Frank Higginson, lot 1, yes, he's financial, pulls the inside one out, puts that in a box with everyone else's, and once they've got through that first bit, they mix them all up, and out they come. And on those ballot papers is just yes, no, or abstain. So that was very secure. Electronic voting needs to be just as secure as that. Now, the other thing that has happened a little bit in recent times is that people have tried to use secret ballots, which is in a way that is what's called a fraud on the power. And that is when someone uses a legislative instrument in a way that is not intended or defeats the purpose of the instrument itself. And the easiest example of this is an ordinary resolution. So ordinary resolutions are usually decided on a 1 vote per person basis. 15 votes for, 14 against, it's passed. But one of the little things in the legislation that's there is that people can call for a poll vote. Anyone can do that, and if that's called for on an ordinary resolution, then the decision is going to be made on the lot entitlements for and against. And so in a building where all of the lots have one entitlement each, it doesn't really make any difference. In a building where the entitlements can be substantially different, the lots with the higher entitlements effectively have a higher voting weight on a poll basis on an ordinary resolution. So there's one particular decision where a motion was put up by secret ballot. The lines in the sand were pretty clear in terms of which way people were going to vote, and the secret ballot would have prevented the people with the higher entitlements, because if you have an open ballot, you know which way people have voted because you can see the entitlements. And the secret ballot would have prevented those people from using a poll vote, which would have meant that the decision would have been passed in the affirmative. An adjudicator knocked that over in terms of that vote was being cast or decided in a way that was a fraud on the power. It wasn't what secret ballots were designed to do, but that's what it was being used for. The other one that I find a little bit interesting from time to time is, as much as secret ballots are designed to protect the identity of the voter, you're always entitled to know which lots have voted, but not which way. But in a secret ballot, for example, where there's 5 votes cast and they're all in favour, you absolutely know which way people have voted. Or in the same, if there's only 1 vote, then you also know which day they've voted. So nothing we can do about that. That's the compromise that comes with trying to protect people's identity. But there's some other tweaks that can happen between the different modules with secret ballots. So if you ever need any help on those, just give us a shout.